Congressman Pete Sessions. Thank you for being here with me today. We're on the second week of Texas House Democrats breaking quorum. What are your thoughts on the decision by Texas House Democrats?
It's an issue that the Democrats are going to have to deal with. This is part of what happens when you're in the minority. And it has been a long time since Democrats have even won a statewide race. And there's no question that what happens is that there's Republican dominance here. The question that really is at hand that your viewers probably are aware of is that when redistricting was done some 6 years ago, there were different federal rules in place by the courts, the Supreme Court and other Court of Appeals. And Texas, at the time they drew the lines going into 20 and 21, operated under rules that have changed. Other states, not Texas, other states have been in the court, Supreme Court and Court of Appeals, and new decisions have been made by those courts and things have changed. And so Texas is simply going to now go, and the president looks at this too, as if we have not figured it out. It's a big battle in Washington, D.C., and it's down to literally one or two members of Congress. And it is based on states like Illinois, in California and other Democrat states literally running roughshod over where Republicans are. There may be 30% in a state, but almost all of those states have whole Democrats. So it's a political consideration that's being made. And that political consideration is based upon law. And that law that is made is what then each of these legislators have to live within. So the state of Texas is trying to move its business. And when someone does not, even though they're duly elected, if they are going to abdicate, if they're not going to stay and just take the loss, which is what the Democrat Party has been aware of for 20 plus years in Texas, then they are, in essence, not moving forward with the state that has an overriding desire to do their business.
You mentioned states like Illinois and California, but we do see Republican states, many people criticize them for having, more Republican representation than some say the population actually is.
Well, now you can say that, but go back to the last election where President Trump overwhelmingly, even in Democrat seats, came and changed not just their vote, but the direction. And so now more than ever, there's a focus in this country about which direction the country wants to go. And Donald Trump overwhelmingly won that debate, even in Democrat seats. So you're right. There are conversations that take place about, do we make representation based upon the percent of Democrats? Is that how you then make decisions? But that completely changed this last election overwhelmingly.
The last time we spoke, we talked about, the proposed maps for the 17th district, which would eliminate, a lot of parts of East Texas from your constituency. Now that this quorum break is going on, what impact you feel that'll have on your potential district?
The changes in the congressional seats are dramatic to me. I have taken what was a district 5 years ago with people who, quite honestly, were concerned about picking up a congressional member from Waco, Texas, that is the furthest west you could go in the congressional seat. We have found a way, and I applaud East Texas. They gave me a chance. I have performed, I believe, for them admirably. We've been over to East Texas 24 times in this period of time. We are engaged in the community. We have been engaged for their benefit, and it's worked well. Quite honestly, I'm sad. I'm sad with the change. I grew to like these counties that are over there, the people that are there, the elected officials. I think they believed in me, and they know I believed in them. So it is a change for me. I will go from east west to north south now. And so it means that as always, the legislature draws the map for Congress. Congress does not draw its own map.
Let me ask you though, do you expect, now that this quorum break is going on, do you expect the proposed redrawing of the maps to actually go through? Do you expect lawmakers in Austin to approve this?
It it is it is a question of getting a quorum in Austin, and so I think Republicans understand that they need to move the state's business. It is not the only piece of legislation. They have deep issues that deal with the floods that occurred down in Kerr County and all across central Texas that impacted this congressional district. There are a number of very important pieces of legislation. One of the most important is something that's very dear to people in East Texas, and that is the what's called Delta 9, and that is where we see all these shops that are set up with dangerous products for our children. And the governor vetoed the legislation that was approved by all but 7 Republicans in Austin. And we must not legalize what is known as THC or marijuana in the state. It is ruining our schools. It is a deterrence in our schools. It has caused an addiction. And every county judge that is anywhere in Texas will tell you as well to hospitals, it is literally the number one issue where people are sick, addicted, and having problems. So there's a lot of important business that needs to take place in Austin, Texas. And I would expect that a person that's elected, whether they win or lose on that issue, that they show up and do their job.
Governor Greg Abbott has threatened to vacate the seats of lawmakers who have denied quorum. Your thoughts on that?
The state of Texas, anybody, even if it were a city council in Lufkin, Texas, or Nacogdoches, is entitled to be able to move its business. And people who are duly elected have an obligation to come and be present and at least vote, even if you disagree with what they do. You have an obligation to come vote. As a member of Congress for 27 years, I have served 8 of those years in the minority. And there are things that I do not always agree with, but I have an obligation to the Constitution of the United States to come and make a decision and let my vote be known. But to simply not allow something to take place because you have vacated it means that you have given up that right. You have vacated your right to be able to make a decision, and thus you've stopped the entire process. I believe that what the governor is doing is not just the right thing to do, but it means that they could choose to do this if there's no consequences, even running the state of Texas. And constitutionally, that's untenable.